Hey guys, welcome to J Plays. I'm Iceman. This is my latest devblog for work on Nanatama Chronicle of Dungeon Maker, or as I like to call it, Dungeon Maker 3 for the Sony PSP. Now this is devblog number 22, the first devblog since the 3rd of May, so it's now been about 2 and a bit weeks since that point in time. Since the previous video, quite a lot has been done again, as is becoming standard with these things, because I'm starting to leave it a bit longer before I go about jumping into the next devblog, and also milestones for the project too. So, in the previous one, we had up to day number 36. I've now played up to, day number 42. So it's been an additional, 6 days since that one? Alright, so let me see. So in the time between then and now, there's been some additional all the conversations that have happened between those two points has been done. So there's been numerous conversations translated with everyone in the town. You can now use items of Ice Cave and Cold Rooms that have been translated with the dungeon on the 5th, and I'm just going through the days. So on day 36, I had that done. They had translated the Breeze Sword. Actually, I'm going to pop down the volume just in case it's a bit loud. I don't think it's that loud. Anyway, so the Breeze Sword, Copper Bangle, and Wolf Fur were translated, as well as a whole bunch of conversations. And I should note too that all the conversation topics, as in relation to the dungeon, like dungeon hints, or the currently revealed ones anyway, all these are translated, so you can get them and get the strategy notes, which have also been translated. A new quest related to Cold Heartstone, which at the point that I'm playing it, I've already completed it, but on day 36 was when I got it. That's this one, Cold Heartstone. So firstly, getting it, plus the additional research, well, the additional info you get from Sophia's been translated. So that's all done. As I said, Ice House has been, Ice House has been translated. I knew this Icebug Wing was also done. That's been translated over English. The Water Orb has been translated. That's a key item that you get in the inventory. Unfortunately, I can't show you all these things, like as to where it goes, because this video would go for hours and hours and hours if I was going to go into showing you where you get all these things. But I think the was the Water Orb. That one, this one here. So that's translated. New monster research into Blue Bats, Lizard Bug, and Cold Heart were all translated over, and that's day 36. Then to go to day 37, we have I translated a new conversation with Theo. New items of Lizardman Heather Ornament and Witch Robes are all translated. Let's see if I got that. I don't know if I'll have it in here. Actually, I'll have it in. Yeah. So ornament is helmet. There we go, feather ornament. So that's translated. Witch robe. Where is it? It's not that one. Oh, it might be a key item. If not, then I don't know. Let me see. There we go, Witch Robe. That's a new... that's the first upgradable form for the field that you get, so that changes his appearance, gives him some different abilities. Let me see. And later on in the day, in the evening, conversation with Frederick, Sophia, more of the dungeon topics, and an item, wolf steak, which is a new meal you can get. So if you go here, that's this one, wolf steak. So that adds plus 12 to HP and plus 2 to soul. On day 40, nothing was in the morning part. We're in the dungeon. There was one conversation with Elena and one with Vivi, as well as getting a new item, Ice Spell, which is here. So that's been translated. New monster research into bronze armor was also done. So if you happen to defeat a bronze armor type enemy, let me try and find it in these ones. That's this one, so that's translated. Then on to day 41. The main things was Long Axe and Water Devil Stone. So Long Axe, that's this one, Long Axe and Water Devil Stone. I think that was a, if I remember correctly, it's a root material, I think. That's this one, I think. Could be wrong. As well as research into leader kobolds. That's this one. And Jellyman. That's all translated over. So if you do encounter those with the latest demo I'll be releasing, you'll see that in lovely English that you can actually read. Okay, then that takes us into day number 42 and the last one that I went through. So the main things were done at the start of the day. Oh, actually, there was nothing in the daytime morning part that needed to be translated. In the dungeon, there was a conversation with Feel. A fire spirit convo, like if you manage to get the fire spirit. So if you go into the ruins where the fire spirit is and you have a firebug wing, you'll now be able to get him and see that conversation in English. New items, firebug wing, frozen meat, and lizard armor were translated. And then conversations with Elena, 2 with Elena. So one thing that happens around this point, if you've been playing steadily, you might have been able to get yourself you can see my mouse cursor down around, let's see my mouse cursor on the screen. There we go. Around here. So F class. So that on this day, at least in my playthrough, I was able to get F class. Now this opens up a whole bunch of things. Firstly, you can build up to the 7th floor. And it introduces an important conversation that is had. So let me reload. So this marks for a big discussion topic or conversation topic that gives you 2 choices that makes a game defining or game branching decision. So we go here. How did that look? Got new permit? Good work. You can now build up to 7 floors. I'll add 2 more for purchase. Is the end near? Now here is an important point in the game that is reached. Now this is not something I've seen in the previous 2 Dungeon Maker games. So what happens is you're given a choice. Now I haven't played far enough to see if it actually does it, but if you say it's not near, then I think what that means is then the game will continue up to the 20th floor. But if you choose it is, then it'll end on the 10th. So this is basically a point where you're, determining how much further the game goes. So If you choose this one, then this translation project will have got you about halfway through the game, because that's if it gets to the 10th floor. It could be that it's going to finish soon, in which case this would be finishing very soon. But if you're going to the 20th, I've only translated up till about the end of the 5th floor, so it's about 1/4 of the way through the game. So depending on which one you choose to, if we say it's not, you say, glad to hear it's not, and that's it. If you then go and decide that it's going to be, then say, what? Please try harder. You're my #1 customer. Wouldn't be the same. And he has a bit of a cry, because you've decided you just wanted to play 10 floors. So that's a major point in the game that's hit. Now I've made a backup of my saves. So the plan going forward from here is I'm going to translate just that path to finishing the game early. But I've made a backup of my saves so I can return back to this point. So first I want to get it so that this game is beatable if you choose the short option to play through the first 10 levels. And then the hardcore one is if you want to play 20. And that one's going to take me so long. But you'll have that available to you at a later point in time. I would say it's going to take me a very long time to get to that level of completion on this project. If you've been tracing how long it's taken me so far, so I started on this back in mid-December. So we're now in April. What are we in? May? May almost. We're in about one or two more weeks left of May at this point. So January, February, March, April, May. Wow, 5 months. 5 and a bit months it's taken me to get this far. So yeah, it's going to be a very long time until we're looking at 100% completion. And this is only with the game in abbreviated form. If at some later point in time I do get some assistance in adding half-length fonts into this game, then we can at least have things in proper writing with me having double the amount of space available for every word and sentence, which would make, oh my god, that would make such a difference. But anyway, so that is the current state of the project. I'll show you. Now, note, I haven't translated to the next day, but I'll show you what the dungeon bits are like. No, I'm not going to save, we're just going to go straight in there. This might take us straight to the 5th level. Are we? Yeah, we are. Okay, so I previously showed you what level 4 was like. So level 5 is one that you haven't seen much of in this. And I'm going to pump the volume up a little bit. Hopefully you can still hear me above the game stuff. So level 5 is all about having an ice style level, because there's a particular type of enemy, the snowman, that you want to have appear in your dungeon. You have these areas in the ruins that you can go down to. So my character may look a little bit different to how he was in the previous one, because I've just started getting broken bronze armor, which you can use to get Guido to make you bronze armor pieces. And all those, by the way, have been translated, all the types of armors that he can create for you. So again, if you played the latest demo release, which I'll be releasing after this video, then you can have that available to you as well. So if you decide to go through all the ruin bits, and you make the level an ice level, that gets you access to this bit of the ruins around here, which is like the water / ice element things. You can travel through this. I've already been through there, but you can travel through that dimension hole, or a magic hole they call it in this game, which will take you off to the water dimension, where you can speak to... It's not Sylph, I forget the name of the character. Undine, that's it. As I said, so I'm in the sake of translation, just to get to the nearest point, I'll be translating up to the end of the short path. Then I'll be reloading my backups, and then we'll continue for a more longer playthrough. But at least once that bit's done, it will mean that if someone were to choose to do a short play of this game, you would now have 100% of the game, as of that point when I get that far, done for you. Not done yet, but you know, give me time, I'll have it done to that point. I mean, it won't be anywhere near as long as it'll take me to get all 20 done. Probably looking at another couple of months, maybe. Or at least 2 months, anyway. Depends how busy life is. Right now I'm juggling my job and having to put time into that with putting time into this, and it's a juggle. Anyway. So let's show you more of what there is. So on this floor, you've got all these hallways. Now, if you've played Dungeon Maker 1 or 2, a lot of this should be very familiar to you, as this is, you know, virtually identical. That's one of the quest enemies, by the way, Cold Heart. You need that to get the Cold Heart gem. Also got some extra player abilities and things translated. So if you happen to level those up a little bit more, or if you happen to get some more spells on your orc characters, or skills, I've got some more of those done. So depends on what you've got done. You can check out, if you're curious on that stuff, be sure to check out the, what do I call it? I think it's called translationtests.txt. That has all the changelog stuff in it. Yeah, so on this floor, much like how it looked in Dungeon Maker 2 and 1, you get the cold rooms, which is these. I think it had a different name in the other ones, but anyway, this one is called cold rooms. The hallways look identical to how it did in the other games. As I said, I'm just going to show you this floor because I showed what the fourth floor was like in the previous video. Yeah, I was currently halfway through going through it, so, you know, as in playing through it and translating through it. So. You'll see some rooms that aren't finished. You get this room, the recovery room. If you've played the previous 2 games, you'll know what that's about. And I can already see one thing I haven't translated yet, the targeting info up in the top left. I'll do that before I release the demo. I always find things I miss when I'm recording, I swear. You try and be as comprehensive as you can be, but you still miss stuff. Here's one of the new rooms, well, not new for the series, but if you've played the previous ones, ice rooms with this should be familiar for you. This is the room you need to get the snowman to appear, which is the, you know, a Class A monster that you need to get the next permit upgrade. Alright, now I'll be right back. I'm gonna pause the recording for a second. Alright, I have returned. Let's keep going. This is, by the way, the enemy that you need to take on to get the what is it? The bronze armor pieces. Well, broken bronze armor that you need to make bronze. Well, to get Guido to make the bronze armor for you. Which is just that there. It's in a vr.bz. As you can see, this game has a little bit more of a summoning kind of angle to it than the previous two games. The second one had the Ginyu creature that you would have, which gave you some degree of this, but it looks like in this one there's no limit to like how many orb characters you can have on screen at once. It's just that you have to wait a certain amount of time each time before you can place another. So in some respect, it kind of makes the game a bit more like Diablo 2 in a sense. I mean, depending on your point of view. And you are leveling up each one individually, but that's one of the key differences. Your feel looks a little bit different in this one. That's because of the new form that you get for him. Once you go to the level 5 mystery dungeon. They call it mystery dungeon. I'm like, that is not mystery dungeon. It's not really a mystery if it's fixed, you know. The whole point for mystery dungeons, as it was in the other games, for it to be randomized. But there is no randomization in this game for this one. That's like one of the few negatives I have with this particular game over the previous entries. On a side note, these videos I'm putting up, even I hope I'm not boring you too much by showing you gameplay stuff, but I mean, besides my videos, there's almost next to no videos on this game on YouTube at all, so I guess no matter what, even if you're not interested in the translation, you can at least see what Nanatama is like, you know? Though, since you're seeing it in my version, you're getting a bit more English. I always leave it to my orb characters to fight those things. In the first two games, I actually hated fighting the wisps. I don't know what they're called in this one. It's got a different name, I think. I definitely say, though, that I like the combat more in this game than the previous ones. Firstly, because of the skills that you have, like weapon skills that improve as you fight stuff, getting you access to new abilities that you can use, like combat abilities. Combat abilities didn't even exist in the previous ones. It's just that every weapon fight had certain types of attack styles that you would do with them. That's the only thing that made a difference. This one you actually have to play a bit more tactical. So I do like that. That's completely just for this game kind of thing. And I do like the enemies that have been new. I mean, the new enemies that have been added in. There's a few here and there. The spiders are one thing. There's been a few around the place. Always watch the statues. Every now and then they have a monster getting away. I didn't know they could do that. Just about done with the level, only a little bit left to go. So most of their drops I've translated. I mean, but some things are like rare drops, so you may see as I'm playing the occasional thing that hasn't been translated, but it's just all percentage chance stuff. Level up. Yeah, but playing through this game, I have been playing a bit more as an archer, which I have never played as in the other games. In the other games, it was just good to just run in and just, you know, muck shit up with your melee weapon. But in this one, not so much. Especially since you can now summon, you know, multiple orb characters and things. So it does benefit to play more like a necromancer in Diablo 2. Like just summoning stuff and then kind of sitting back and picking things off at a distance when you can. Especially in the boss battles, going guns blazing will just get you killed really fast. Like if you do choose to play this demo and you play up to where the snowman is, he is very difficult to take on in hand-to-hand. But if you get your orb characters to take him on, my tip would be to do that. And just sit there and heal them from a distance. Works much better. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so that's all that for, and so you've seen the basics to it. So if you play the most recent demo, which I'll be releasing hopefully tonight, because I've only got like one little bit here I want to translate. Yeah, so if you play up to that point, you'll be able to play, theoretically anyway, up to the same point that I've translated up to of day number, I think it's 56 or something. Let me double check. Oh, not 56, 42. So if you play up to 42, where you make the important decision choice of whether you're going to play to the 10th or to the 20th floor. So that's done, and as I said, I've done a backup of my save games, and I'm going to just play to the end of the 10th, and then I'll reload and then go back and then play to the 20th. Because at least the 10th is a lot closer than the 20th. Alright. Yes, I hope you enjoyed this devlog. Grab the latest demo release if you'd like to play up to where I've translated up to as of this point in time. Alright guys, have a good one.